Hello and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on Paramount Plus that may lack in explosions, but they make up for it in trampolines. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge All-Star Season 2, Episode 5. We have hit the halfway mark. Say it isn't so, but let's start off where last episode left off, and that was Ayanna and Brad winning against Derrick and Katie in the elimination, sending them home, and coming back to the challenge house. Ayanna and Brad have life shields, and it is time to party. They really kick off this episode with a party scene. Everybody's dancing, everybody's having a good time. While at the party, we learn that there is a sub-alliance in the 5-person alliance of Nehemiah, Teck, Latterian, Steve, and Melinda, known as the Three Kings, which is just Nehemiah, Teck, and Latterian. And they're going to be looking out for each other, as well as the other players in their alliance, but mainly they're going to be looking after the trio first and then the rest of the alliance. And then we get to the next day where we see Tina and Casey talking, and Tina is talking about how she feels like a different person. Like her younger self was so angry. She used her anger to get through the game and just survive in the game, whereas this time around, Tina's playing it a little bit differently. Then we move into a more serious conversation between Melinda, Johnny, and MJ, where Melinda says that she is happy that there's going to be a challenge the next day because that was the scheduled C-section for the daughter that she had lost a few months back. Melinda was pregnant with a little baby girl, and as she became 5 months pregnant, the doctor was unable to hear her heartbeat, and she lost her baby girl. And it was a very heart-wrenching moment for Melinda to open up and be vulnerable, not only with John A. and MJ, but with us, the audience. And Melinda even said at the beginning of this challenge episode that she loves this challenge atmosphere because it is so supportive. And we even see that with how John A. and MJ are there for Melinda in this time where she is very sad. They give her a group hug. My heart goes out to Melinda and her family for going through this very, very tough loss. But speaking of the challenge, everybody gets dressed up and heads down to meet TJ at a body of water where there are these giant trampoline stairs with puzzle pieces at the end of them. This week's daily challenge called Bounce Back, where everybody's playing a solo game. And what everybody's gonna have to do is they're gonna have to jump on these trampoline stairs all the way up to the top and try to knock down the puzzle pieces. You can only bring back one puzzle piece at a time. And so once you collect all 3 puzzle pieces, then you're gonna have to use them to solve a puzzle. The quickest man and woman to solve their puzzles will win this week's daily challenge, win into power, and get to nominate 4 players up for the house vote. And along with that, the 2 slowest competitors, 1 man and 1 woman, to complete their puzzles will go directly into this week's elimination. My initial thoughts of this challenge is that this is very creative, physically demanding, test your swimming skills, and your endurance and your puzzle solving abilities. I love challenges that get you in multiple facets. Let's go into some of the highlights because I don't think we have to go through every single run because majority of the players were able to complete this challenge. One of the highlights or lowlights was Casey having to be disqualified. She was able to get 1 block down and then she just couldn't hit the blocks hard enough and she just kept on going over and over and over again. Finally, she threw in the white flag and she was like, I'm done. Throw me into the elimination. I don't care if I go directly into the elimination. Let's just do it. Steve goes, and he seemed to be doing pretty well early on, but then he decides that he's going to knock down all of his blocks off the strings, but you can only bring back 1 block at a time. So he thought that this was going to be a time saver because he wouldn't have to climb the stairs again. I can see where he's coming from, but he underestimated the current in the water because when he came back to go swim out to get the block, it was way far away. That cost him valuable time. Melinda also had to be disqualified as she took a very hard spill. She hit the water like in the back of her head. She could have had a concussion or something to that effect, and the wind was knocked out of her. By the time she got back to the shore, multiple medics were looking at her. She had to be carried off to get more medical treatment and to get looked at, so she was disqualified. The funniest part of this daily challenge was Tina's trampoline technique. Like, my goodness, even TJ was having a good time with that. And then Jasmine was the heart of this daily challenge as she was one of the last competitors to go. Because of her size, she was having a really difficult time in this daily challenge. And with that, she was just losing a lot of energy. She wanted to quit, and maybe the Jasmine of old would have quit. But she talked in her confessionals that if tough times and challenges came her kids' way, she would never want them to quit. So she wants to be a good model for them. And so she decides that she's just going to keep on pressing forward until she finishes this out. And she does. Of course, she's not going to win because she took a lot longer, but just the heart and the resilience that she did to get this challenge done was amazing. What was now daylight is now nighttime as TJ is handing out the results. He mentions that Steve, because he took the longest to get back with his final block and finish up the puzzles, is going directly into the elimination, and Melinda is going to go directly into the elimination because even though both her and Casey were disqualified, Casey did one more round trying to get her blocks than Melinda did. So Melinda goes directly into the elimination. Now we move over to who won this challenge, and it was between Darrell and Brad, but Darrell was able to eke out the win against Brad, and then Jody won pretty handily. So going back to the challenge house, we have Darrell and Jody in the power position, looking to nominate 4 players for the house vote to see who will be going up against Steve and Melinda. Now coming back to the challenge house, we have the trio of Brad, Darrell, and Jody, all talking to one another. Now Jody in this portion mentions that because Derrick has left, she has no real alliances towards anybody. She doesn't know who she can trust. So when talking with Brad and Darrell, Brad uses this as an opportunity to bring Jody, who is a strong competitor, into the fold and officially bring her into the alliance. And Jody says, let's do this thing. So heading into the nominations, we have Darrell and Jody on the same side, on the same page, and Brad, who holds a life shield, will do whatever they want to do because he shouldn't have anything to worry about. And really he doesn't, because Darrell knows he wants to take a shot at the other room, which was Nehemiah, Teck, Latterian, Steve, Melinda, everyone who took a shot on Derrick last episode and was directly related to why he was leaving the game. So Darrell wants to nominate Teck and Tyler and wants Teck to be the one going in the elimination against Steve to knock out at least one alliance member in that King's Palace alliance. Jody brings up that if Teck is up on the board, that Ayanna will use the life shield on her, and Darrell's like, we'll just nominate Ayanna up there, and then we'll just throw up somebody else to go up against Tina, who Jody really wants to gun after and really wants to send into the elimination and hopefully eliminate from this game right now. So the original names are Teck, Tyler, Ayanna, and Tina. Now Brad and Ayanna come down there, and Ayanna wants some answers. She sees her name up on the board, and she wants to know, why is my name up on the board? Darrell basically says that you have the life shield, we want to flush it away. Ayanna is pissed. She feels disrespected. She hates that she earned the life shield, and now she has to burn it, especially knowing that Teck, someone that she cares about in the game, is in the line of fire. She wants to save Teck, but because of the rules, it sounds like if you're nominated, you have to use the life shield on yourself. So she's pissed. She reluctantly uses the life shield to save herself. Jody goes up there and swaps in Casey. So now the 4 names are Teck, Tyler, Tina, and Casey up on the board and coming back to the challenge house. Tina is not batting an eye or worried whatsoever that her name is up next to Casey's. It seems as though that Tina expected Jody to take her shot at her and try to get her sent into the elimination, but then again, because of how everything went about in the daily challenge, Tina is not that worried because Casey was the other person to be disqualified. So if we're going on performance, the whole house should just vote in Casey against Melinda and let it be done and let Tina do her thing. That's not exactly how it goes, but let's move into the next day where Steve is talking to Melinda, where Melinda is like, really, it's out of my hands. Whoever they want to send in against me, so be it. I think Melinda is just thinking that I don't want to go up against Casey, who is a friend to me in this game, and if I have to go against Tina, then I have to go against Tina. And Steve is thinking that I would much rather go against Teck. Steve is feeling like he can take him in a puzzle, he can take him in a physical elimination, he doesn't want to go up against Tyler. It seems as though that Steve is making this very well known that he doesn't want to go up against Tyler and he wants to go up against Teck. And so Nehemiah, hearing this, takes this to the other 3 kings, and they are both pissed that Steve is turning his back on their alliance, even though they were helping him out. They were trying to do their best to bring him into the fold. I will say that if this is all from this one conversation where Steve is like, I would much rather go against Teck than Tyler, then it's a little confusing why Nehemiah is saying like, oh, I can't believe he's taking a shot at Teck. Now, if we were to see Steve going around the house saying, I want Teck, give me Teck, vote Teck in, and if he is politicking to get Teck thrown into the elimination and really push to get Teck thrown into the elimination, then I can see where Nehemiah, Latterian, and everybody on that side of the house is frustrated. But then again, I would think anybody would want to go up against Teck instead of Tyler in the elimination, but maybe you just didn't have to say it so much, Steve. It seems like we're missing something in the edit as we're just like flying by, heading straight to the house vote where we get Casey saying, "Don't vote for me, vote for Tina." Then Tina says, "Don't vote for me, vote for Casey." Teck does the Marshawn Lynch saying, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." Latterian is like, "That's all you want to say?" But at this point, I think Teck knows that the other side of the house wants to send him into the elimination against Steve. And at this point, I think Teck wants to go up against Steve because he wants to take him out. If you're talking smack about me behind my back and want to go up against me and break our alliance and break our trust, then I would rather send you home myself, and I think that's what Teck wants. But then again, I think Teck would rather stay out of the elimination, but it comes down to the votes, and it comes down to 7-2 for both the men and the women. Tina gets 7 votes to Casey's 2, sending Tina directly into the elimination against Melinda, and then Teck gets 7 votes over Tyler, who gets 2, and Teck is going into the elimination against Steve. Now, post-vote, we have Latterian, Nehemiah, Melinda are all sitting outside, and they're just fuming about Steve and going back against the alliance, and they are so wanting Teck to take him out. And then we move on to what we've seen so much from the trailers with Tina banging the pot saying there's no more Mrs. Nice Tina, and that is this moment right here where she is pissed. She is pissed about the whole house coming at her. This wasn't about performance-based. This was personal, she says, and she is just frustrated. She has Jody up at the top of her hit list. She tells everybody that they better watch their back and you better pray that I don't come back into this house because everybody who voted for me, I am pissed. Tina then has a nice conversation between Melinda and Tyler in the room when Melinda asks if she needs a green tea, and Tina is just laughing hysterically about that. But then everybody dons their gear, heads down to the arena to meet up with TJ, where he calls down Melinda, Steve, Teck, and Tina down to the elimination, and for this week's elimination game called Switchback. In the arena, there are 6 lanes to 6 glow-up skulls, and what the team members are going to have to do is go running back and forth from all different sides of the arena to try to turn your opponent's heads off and then to turn your skulls back on. The player that can turn all their opponent's skulls off while at least having one of their lights on will win this elimination, stay in the game, get the life shield, and keep playing for that $500,000 purse. First up is the men. TJ blows that horn, and I will say that I do like this elimination. I think it is endurance. I think it is physical if you want it to be physical, or you can just be aerodynamic, and you have to also use your brain and be focused. And this elimination is pretty tedious, where it's just the men going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But we do get some good hits. Like I was mentioning, this does get physical, where Teck kind of lays out Steve when Steve wasn't expecting it. It was a very good hit by Teck, but Steve retaliates like the next round and puts Teck on his butt. And then a few rounds later, Teck shoulder checks Steve and kind of gets him off balance. They're going back and forth. The men are not stopping whatsoever, but there is a mental lapse from Steve where he thinks that he pressed a button, starts to run away, but he didn't turn off one of Teck's skulls, and it opens the door. It gets Teck to hop over Steve's progress, and Teck is able to pull out this win, his first elimination win in challenge history. Steve is a little frustrated from himself. Teck is just super excited to get this win, stay this game, and show everybody that he is not a punk, that he is not going to be a pushover. And I loved it for Teck. Now it is time for Melinda and Tina to go up against each other. And this is where I'm pretty shocked by what happens here, because Tina was banging the pots and pans, getting everybody riled up. She was telling everybody to watch their backs, but once TJ blows that horn, Melinda is off running, and Tina just walks to the middle of the arena and just stands there watching Melinda just turn on and off the skulls, and Melinda wins this easily. Now, Tina says in the confessional that she didn't like the person that she was becoming when she got into the arena and looked over at Melinda and knows Melinda was super nice to her, that she didn't want to like compete against her to take her out of this game, that she actually likes Melinda and wants to see her compete in this game, and that she didn't like who she was becoming because of the house politics and how she was taking everything so personally. So with these results, we have Steve and Tina eliminated from the game, where we have Teck and Melinda winning their first elimination games in their challenge careers. They are super excited. They have the life shields. They are going to make it past not only this week, but the next week. They couldn't be happier. And the Three Kings Alliance are excited. They are jumping up and down that Teck is back in the game and that their alliance only lost Steve. So with that being the case, that's where this episode ends. And I have to turn it over to y'all. What did you think about this episode? What did you think about this All-Stars 2 episode with the daily challenge? What happened with Casey and Melinda? What did you think about the challenge overall? What did you think about the house vote, Jody and Darrell's strategy? And what did you think about the elimination game and Tina seemingly quitting on the challenge and kind of saying, no, I don't want to do this anymore? What is your take on everything and anything? Let me know that in the comment section below. Also, while you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge All-Star content. Also, more Challenge 37 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.